Hello and welcome to EzHire Hangouts. Today we have Joyce Gerber, who is the creator and the host of the Canna Mom Show. We're so excited to have you here, Joyce.
Thank you for inviting me in. It's all the way across the country. I'm meeting all these exciting people I wouldn't have met before, so thank you.
So I have 15 seconds on the clock, and what I would like you to list off is what are 5 different slang words for marijuana.
Mary Jane, My Jane, pot. I should know more than this. Oh my God. I'm like blanking. Bud. Cooch. I can't think anymore.
Can you list off 5 types of ways that you can consume cannabis?
Smoke, vape, tinctures, edibles, topicals, patches, suppositories. Did you know that?
Now I do.
Lotions. I do this funny little 10,000 years of cannabis in 5 minutes thing. It's always just been part of humanity. And then for a lot of not very great reasons, it was criminalized and taken out of our diets and taken out of the earth. A couple of people made this decision. It wasn't culture. And now, we're bringing it back, and it's an industry. It's health and wellness. It covers the gamut, and because it's been dormant for 100 years, in some ways, I feel like this is an opportunity for women.
So to jump into the women train, what made you want to get into the cannabis industry, and what advice would you give women who want to get into the cannabis industry?
So I like to say it was desperation, isolation, and so much rejection in the world that I lived in that brought me to cannabis, which in some ways is how a lot of these women who are using it for health and wellness find it. They're finding it at the end of their health journey. I mean, just sort of, you want a typical story is a lot of these women in business are coming in, a lot of them have MS, and they are on these pharmaceutical, cocktails, and they get to a point where it's not working anymore. They get to cannabis as a last resort. And then they have this awakening. Now they're in the industry because they know what it is. So this is health and wellness. I came into this backwards. I wanted to make money in it. I'm always upfront. I want a job. That's how I got into it.
With the pandemic, I mean, it was an essential business, which is just mind-blowing. What? How is it an essential business? And it's just...
Cannabis, you can use any skill. Risk management is a big issue in this industry, as you know. The marketing, the PR, everything in the real world is in cannabis, but because it's so specialized, it's a little upside down. I keep seeing women who are sort of being brave enough to leave their big firms and kind of head out and start doing this work, because I can see that the professionalism needs to be elevated, and I can see the women doing that.
You are the creator and the host of the Canna Mom Show. Have you had any very interesting people on your show? Any quick stories you could tell?
In the beginning, it was just me finding my friends, because once I started talking about it, everyone's got a cannabis story, and then people started reaching out to me. The medical professionals, I talked to nurses. We have people doing products. I have a lot of women on there who are developing their own line of products.
I hope that our viewers come over to your show and listen to your stuff, because it looks like there's a lot of good guests on there.
Check them out. You're going to be amazed. It amazed me. I didn't know these women existed, and their stories are really powerful, and they changed my mind.
All right. A question about you and your history. So I saw that you ran for political office at one point. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, like I said, when I was in and out of work, and then I became that mom who was very involved with the schools. And then one day a friend of mine was like, you give a shit, you should run for school committee. So I ran for a seat on our local school committee. So I had a campaign manager. His name was Zev. He was 11 years old. He was not my son. He was just this kid who liked politics. He'd worked for Obama's campaign when he was 9. Then he was 10. He was working on Elizabeth Warren. And then I actually met him. He was helping, this is true, he was helping to run a canvass for Ed Markey, because Ed Markey was running for Senate. And then I'm like, do you want to be my campaign manager? And he's like, I got to ask my mom. So Zev could literally do everything on that except for the social media stuff, because he was too young. Anyway, so this kid got me, I got a lot of attention. I was on a national radio. I was a good candidate, but I lost, and I felt bad, because that was literally his last, it was the only campaign he'd ever lost.
So we're running out of time, but I'm going to ask you one last question, Louise. What is your favorite cannabis-related movie?
The Nancy Bott one. It's a TV show. The mom in the suburb who sold
like
weed.
weeds.
Right. Anyways, I think cannabis, it's a health and wellness industry. Like seriously, people, it's really good for women my age. My mom still doesn't believe me. She's 85. It can make us feel better. We don't have to feel bad all the time. I think that's sort of the message I want people to hear. Stay tuned to the Canna Mom Show, where everywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Find me on my website. I do a blog post every once in a while. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I have my guest list for 2021 is pretty much ready, but if you're interested in coming on in 2021, like in September, give me a call.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on EzHire Hangouts. It was awesome having you here.
But thank you for inviting me, Juliana. This was fun. I don't usually get to be I usually ask the question, so it's a little bit odd for me. So thank you.
Thank you again. All right. Bye.